Good evening, everybody. It's Wendy Garcars from the Micro Business Growth Club, and this evening is the Kickstart Your Money Making website. So I'm going to get straight on and look at the presentation for this evening. It's just going to be half an hour, and I'm also recording it so that if you want to play it back, you'll be able to access it from my YouTube channel, probably on Friday. So let's get this party started. So tonight I wanted to look at Kickstart Your Money Making website. As I say, my name is Wendy Garcars. I'm from the Micro Business Growth Club. And this is really important because what it's not about is telling you how to design a website. I don't have the technical expertise to do that. This is more about if you are engaging someone to do that for you, or if you're designing it yourself, there are some key elements that you need to make sure are built into your website so that it can help you to generate income. And it's those things that I want to cover this evening. So the 6 takeaways you're going to get from this evening are really, really straightforward. Any website should be maximising the search engine optimization to make sure that you appear in the right searches. I'm just going to talk a little bit about that. I'm also going to talk about the importance of building and engaging your audience through your website, because it is your digital shop window, and it's really important that when you are driving traffic towards it, it does its job. So it welcomes them in, it keeps them there because it's giving them something of value and interest, and it helps them to choose to work with you, whether that's direct purchasing from your website if you're offering e-commerce and actual products, or whether you want to work with them to deliver a service. You also need to make sure that your content is doing its job and that it adds value for your visitors. And when they want to click on that button and buy from you, you need to make that as easy as possible. A key thing that people forget is that it has to look good on mobile devices. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And then it absolutely should help you monetize your business strategy. If you have a clear idea about where your business is going in the next 12 months, 3 years, 5 years, and you understand all of the income stream possibilities that you've got for that, then your website should play a real part in helping to deliver that for you. So the first thing is reviewing your SEO. So you need to be making sure that you are appearing in the right searches. And as I say, if you've got a really good web designer, they will have done their homework for this. But for me, you also, even if it's only a basic knowledge, you also need to understand what sits behind this, even if it's only the core principles. Because I'm talking a lot of the time to businesses who are complaining like Billy that they feel as though they've been ripped off. They've had this website built, they can't access it, they can't update any of the content on it. They're not sure it's doing its job. And actually, that's because there are people out there that will take advantage of building websites and who want to keep hold of the reins, because then it means you have to go through them if you want it updated. But the key thing about the SEO is that if they've done their job right and they've designed you a great website, the SEO should support that. It should give you the analytics that tell you that you are being found in searches, that you are being found in the right places by the right people. And so the key thing that will do that is making sure that the data that sits behind it, that is mined by the search engines, is the right stuff so that it targets your audience and the sort of problems that they are looking for solutions for. To help you to do that then, and to help you understand the sort of words and phrases that are trending in your field, the site that I use, there are lots of others, but the easiest one I've found is a site called www.answerthepublic.com. And you can get on and use this. I think it gives you a couple of searches every day. But if you put in the keywords that you want people to search for you by, it will give you an analysis of the phrases and terms that people are using when they are searching using those words. And it helps to confirm that you're on the right track with your metadata. But it's more important than that. because the search bots look at the content that you're putting on your website too. If you've got those keywords peppered throughout your content, then it's even more likely that you're going to be picked up in the right searches and pushed out, because the search engine's job is to give the customer what they're looking for. And so the more hits you make on those keywords, the more likely you are to be labelled higher up the search that someone has entered in. The second thing then is, does it build and engage your audience? So hopefully what you're doing with your website is you're trying to build a strong and loyal audience. And you do that through your social media, through your email marketing, and through your community building. What you're trying to do is create enough visibility so that enough people see you, and it creates brand awareness. So they look at your brand, they look at you, they look at your posts, and immediately your business pops into their head. If you're putting all of that effort into social media and email marketing, then you need to be clear that you're doing something with it. And for most people, the easiest way to capture that interest that is generated by those activities is to drive it towards the website and to capture their address, contact details. Now, the reason that email marketing is increasing again in popularity is simply that when you are on social media, you don't own that audience. So you can put stuff out and it's like leaving breadcrumbs out for birds, and sometimes they'll come down and take them and sometimes they won't. But if you're driving people towards your website and they're leaving you their details on your email marketing list, or your registration list, depending on what you've got, then that is yours. You are then building your own tribe. You're building your own audience, and you can talk to them whenever you want to. You know that they're in the right place. You know that if you press that button, it'll go to their email file, and they're more likely to open and read it. So using your website to do that just makes such sense, because you are building that tribe for yourself, and it cuts out some of the guesswork of a total dependence on social media. Again, in order to do that, you need to be giving them something in exchange, so they won't just rock up and give you their contact details. And most people for this use lead magnets, and there's so many different lead magnets. In fact, I think I've done a Kickstarter about lead magnets. So if you want to have a look at that later, you can do. But it's things like a newsletter, or maybe a free resource, maybe a checklist, or a self-assessment test, or maybe an article that you've written, or whatever. But it's essentially, it's a piece of exclusive content that you are offering them in exchange for their details and in exchange for their engagement. And these things are really, really powerful, but you have to make sure that you're picking something, a lead magnet, that is something that they will find of value. So it does need to offer them some sort of partial solution to a problem that they're having, or maybe a way to identify and clarify the problem that they're having. So the third thing you need to be looking at then is your content. And I always think that this is a sort of, it's a contested point, but some people will say you absolutely need to be refreshing your content almost on a monthly basis, and other people say it doesn't really make that much difference. I can only go on my experience, and my experience is that if I am visiting a website and I see the same pictures, the same images, the same content up, month after month, then it makes me wonder whether it's still a live website. The number of times you go onto a website, it's advertising an event that happened last year, or it's asking you to sign up to a program that started, 2 years ago. What does that tell you about the business and about the way it interacts digitally with its audience? So for me, I think err on the side of caution and do refresh your content, because you want people to keep coming back. And if they're saying the same old, they won't bother, because there's no point in them coming back. But with your content, it has to be succinct. you can't be doing War and Peace up there. You know, if you think about the way in which we view things, we're viewing things there invariably on 6-inch screens. And so what you need to be clear about is that it can't be that much text that you're continually having to scroll to get to the bottom of the article. For me, good website content is succinct, and it means it comes in sound bites, short sentences, a few sentences in a paragraph. Bullet points are great because it's easy to take things in, and really nice imagery that is reflective of the topic that is being presented. It's also about being in the right language. Lots of people, when they sit down and write content, write it from their perspective. So I'm a business consultant, and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write all about me and my page, and I'm going to tell you why you should work with me. Well, to be quite honest, I wouldn't want to be preached at like that. But if somebody came on and said, I understand the difficulties that you're having, this is a major problem for you, this is how I'd help you to solve that problem, then that is a completely different ballgame. Because what that person says is, gosh, that person understands me. This website owner has got some empathy with what I'm going through, and maybe I could trust them to help me solve the problem. So you have to show on your website how you connect your solution with the common problems that your customers are dealing with. And if you do that in a shorter way and a concise way as possible, then you're more likely to get real hits and create real engagement with the audience that you're trying to attract. A website does have to offer some added value, and so it's really important that there is content on there that people are willing to read. It has to be interesting, it has to be appealing, and it should leave them wanting more. So ideally what you want them to do is think, this is absolutely great, but I really could do with the conversation with this person, so that they pick the phone up or they email you. That's really what the aim of having a money generating website is. So the last thing about content that I'm going to mention is your call to action. If somebody's having to scroll through a website to find out which button to press to contact you, then the design's wrong. They should be able, when they're looking at it as a static screen, to spot a way of making connections with you, which means that if you've got a scrolling front page, it's more than likely that you need more one call to action button. So make sure that if you're reading it, do it from yourself as a consumer, and think to yourself, would I be willing to scroll the equivalent of 5 pages before I got to the bottom? Please give me a call. These are the things that make a difference. You are more likely to create a sale from your website if they like it, if they stay on it, and if they find it easy to interact with you. The harder you make it, the less likely that sale will be. So talking about sales, if you want people to be able to sign up, whether it's a membership offer or whether it's products that they're buying from you, you have to make it as easy as possible for you to accept payment from them. So the payment method that you offer should have a choice to it. So whether that's PayPal or Apple Pay or a bank transfer or whatever it is, you need to make sure that you have got options for all people. If you're selling very large price ticket items, that might even include a payment plan where they can break down, maybe, I don't know if it's a coaching contract of a few £1,000s, where they can break that down into 4 easy payments. And there are systems out there that allow you to build that into your website. But what you don't want to do is for somebody who's desperate to work with you to look at it and think, no, that's not for me, because I don't want to pay like that. So make it easy, make it accessible. And remember that a payment, a purchase from your website should be completed in the fewest possible clicks. So if they've got to search through and choose 5 different options and then go into a basket and then enter their details and then do something else before they get to the payment thing, and then after the payment thing, they've got to click a button that says buy now, it's going to make it really difficult. And it's why so many lose money in abandoned carts. It's not because they change their mind halfway through. They put things in their cart, get to the end, find the process is so difficult to work, that actually they just give up and go off and find somewhere else to spend their money. So I would say to you, do look at the payment method that you're using on your website and make sure it's really, really clear and easy. I have mentioned this, I've touched on this before, but your website needs to look good on mobile devices. And this is from a recent study from a statistical analysis company who deals a lot with e-commerce organizations. It needs to look good on mobile devices because at the moment, this is 2022 figures. No, sorry, 2023 figures, January 2023. The number of smartphone purchases that happened during the last quarter of 2022 were done on 59% were done on a smartphone. Just let that sink in. 60% were done on a smartphone. 36% was done on a laptop or a tablet, and only 5% used a different method. Now, we all know that through COVID, it trained people to feel okay about purchasing online. And it was singly probably the biggest change that people made during lockdown, that they got used to doing their shopping online, they got used to paying electronically. But for most people, the easiest way of doing that is a smartphone, because if you don't have a laptop, most people have a smartphone. And all of the research that's being done is that even the older generation are doing this now. So it's something like the over 60s, 60% of them have access to a smartphone. So the old adage that we used, well, you know, I've got an older demographic for my clients, so they're not going to be using it. Actually, COVID changed that, and even older people got used to using their smartphone in that way. So you have to make sure that your website looks as good on your mobile device as it would on a desktop screen. And I do it all the time. I look at websites, they look absolutely fabulous on a desktop. I've got quite a large screen and they look fabulous. And yet the moment I try and access them on my mobile phone, that it loses all its impact. So make sure that you are mobile device friendly. The last point I want to make this evening then is about how your website should help you to monetize your strategies. So, so you will have a variety, my guess is you will have a variety of different paid options for people to access you. So you'll have different entry points to your service, and there'll be the lower priced items where people can just use you, and that might be a passive income stream where you're selling some digital content online. There'll be a medium level, maybe a lightweight level where they get to speak to you for some of their interaction. And then there'll be a higher level where they get you on a one-to-one basis. And they will have different price points. That's monetizing your strategies, because if you are a small business and your coaches and therapists are a classic example here, you are limited by the time you have available. So you can only charge for the time that you're working. And therefore, you have to make sure that you are making the most of your time. And it would be really good for you to have passive income streams, which means you're bringing money in even when you're asleep at night. So things like ebooks, things like journaling, things like presentations or training videos, all of those things can be available via your website that people can just click on and buy, which is earning you money. So by monetizing those ideas, you're creating income streams that help you to respond to the needs of your audience, but also help you grow an audience or grow a membership service. Because you are targeting those at specific audiences, it makes sense then that if you're using paid advertising, to do it in a very targeted way by speaking directly to where that audience hangs out. So if you're doing Google ads or you're doing Facebook ads or whatever it is, you're targeting them specifically at the audience that you know are your target market. Just those two things can make a massive difference when you are looking at making sure that you're website is maximizing your earning capacity, because it means that there is an alignment with your marketing and actually what you want your goals for your business to be. By targeting your audience's preferences in that way and their needs, the problems that they're trying to solve, you are giving them exactly what they want. They are then able to choose that product, which means they're using your monetized strategies. So it's how your business plan, your business strategy can come to fruition. And it really is important that you make those things sympathetic to each other, so that it's working hand in glove rather than competing against each other. So I hope you found that useful. These are all things that can help you to ensure that your website is up to scratch and is doing its job by helping you to earn income. You'll be able to watch the recording of this on my YouTube channel, which is Micro Business Growth Club, YouTube Micro Business Growth Club. And it will probably be up there on in a couple of days, so you'll be able to watch it. But in the meantime, you can always become a member of the award-winning Micro Business Growth Club. And I've put my web address there. You can click on that link and have a look at the different packages that we offer. We offer a range of different packages because we recognise that businesses are at different stages in their development, different stages in their sales strategy, and actually in the budget that they have available. So I wanted to make it accessible for everybody. All packages, however, receive the advice and help and support that you need to grow your business. And we're about putting fun back into being your own boss, because running a business is not easy, and it can be really hard slog at times. And if you are on your own doing that, it can feel a very isolated place without much fun in it, really. And the idea of the business club is actually to build an online community where business owners work together and support each other and have a bit of fun and take the difficulty out of growing a business and actually start to fall in love with their business again. So do check it out. And I will say at the moment that all membership packages are carrying a free 1-month trial, so that you can try before you buy to see whether it's for you. I want every small business to grow and prosper, because we are the engine house of our community. And a website is a massive part of that nowadays. You have to have a digital footprint to be found and actually to do business. And so I hope that these few pointers will help you to think much more carefully about the next refresh of your website. Or if you've not got a website and you're going to go to a web designer, we'll give you a bit of a shopping list about the sort of things that you should be asking them to deliver for you in the site that they build for you. A website nowadays isn't an optional extra. It is a vital part of your business strategy. So please spend a bit of time and thought when you're looking at putting a website out for public consumption. I wish it all the luck with it, and please feel free to contact me if you have any queries. So go off and start looking at your SEO. Thanks for listening this evening. Bye.